and start recording. Okay, so I'm going to head over to Canvas to start because that's where you're going to see what we're going to be working on over the next few weeks. And then I'm going to also open the document up so that you can kind of see how it's laid out, what you're supposed to be working on each day. Remember to fill out that attendance link. It's supposed to be done before noon, but if you do it today or afternoon, it still will work. So if we click on the e-learning button, it's going to take us to the module where it says we're live today to go over instructions. We're starting a project that we will work on over the course of the next 2 weeks. This project has 6 tasks, and each day I will go over how to complete one of the tasks. Please do not work ahead, as you might have to go back and redo your work based on what I might say in the Skype session. So today I'm going to cover task 1. There is a document down here titled Road Trip, and you're going to download that. You don't have to do it right now because you'll want to be watching more of what I do on the document, and I'll open it up in just a second. But you're going to do your work right in the packet, and it will get submitted at the end of the 2 weeks. So if we look at my calendar down here, this is today. So task 1, task 2 is going to be tomorrow, and task 3 will be on Thursday. Then we have tasks 4, 5, and 6 on May 5th, 6th, and 7th. And then remember that all work is due by Monday of the following week. So that means that I will not accept this project any later than May 11th at noon. My suggestion to you would be work on each task once a day, just like if we had class time, that's what you would be doing. Don't wait until like this last weekend and try to do this whole project. This project is worth a lot of points. It's going to be a 60-point project, and that's pretty big in my class considering most of what we do is 5 points. So those of you who are kind of find yourself in a boat where you haven't done a whole lot of math, or you've had some stuff missing that you didn't get turned in on time, so you've got a lot of zeros or missing assignments, this is going to be a really good opportunity for you to get your grade up. So again, if you miss a Skype session anytime in the next 2 weeks, you absolutely have to watch this video that I make and post before you try to work on that day's task, only because you're going to kind of miss the instruction part of it and how to do each part because it's kind of specific. So I'm going to go ahead and open my document, not from here. I'm going to open it from my actual folder, which it doesn't matter. I think it's just a little faster to open it this way. So this project is called the Road Trip Project, and in years past I've done this project with students. Sometimes we do it during like iLearn or iStep because it's not really teaching new material. It has a lot to do with math, and it's really fun, I think, as well. So what I'm going to kind of do is read through this intro, and then I'm going to quickly scan through the document and show you the different tasks, but then I'm going to really focus on the first task today so you can see what you're supposed to do. So the project is called Road Trip. It says you and your best friend are planning the ultimate road trip for this summer. You will start at one of your houses and travel to 5 other U.S. cities before returning home. You decide what 5 cities you want to travel or to visit following the guidelines listed below, and I'll tell you what those are in a minute. And then you're going to follow the steps to calculate how far you will travel. Other items, fuel, lodging, etc., are also going to be decided by you. Keep track of all of your information, and you'll see how to do that in this packet. You will be creating a presentation of your road trip, so it'll be on PowerPoint or Google Slides or some other presentation tool containing information that I ask for you throughout this project. So the first thing I want to share is that as we work through this project, you're going to want to make sure that you're collecting information like snapping pictures of things and uploading those into this document so that you have all of that stuff for later on. You have it all for later on when you go to make your presentation, because the most obnoxious part about this is for students who aren't like saving pictures and snips of things, and then they get to the end and they need to make a PowerPoint presentation, and then you have to go back and look up all of that stuff again. So I'm trying to prevent you from having to do work twice. So you'll see lots of places within this packet where you're supposed to upload a picture, insert an image, something like that, so that when you get to the presentation, you have it all in this document. So let's go over it again. You're going to take a road trip. Now it says you and your best friend. That doesn't mean this is a partner project, so you have to work on this individually. You cannot turn in the same 5 cities, the same everything as somebody else. You've got to go a different route. But basically, you're going to hop in your car. We're going to pretend we can drive. We're going to hop in the car and we're going to travel. We're going to travel the country. And you have to pick 5 destinations, 5 cities to travel to. And that's the first part today. The first part today is laying out what 5 cities do I want to go to and how far away are they? How do I get there? So each part of this, each task, I should say, of this project is laid out real nicely here in this document. So part 1 is destinations. This is the part we're going to go over today, and I'll come back to it in a minute, but it has some guidelines on how you're going to plan your trip. It's got a nice table here to enter in city names and addresses, because we're going to go to Google Maps today. And I have this document locked, so all you can do is type in these boxes. But we're going to go to Google Maps today to be able to determine how far apart these cities are, how long it's going to take you, how long you're going to stay there, and that sort of thing. So the first part you'll fill out today is going to be the cities you pick, and then the next part will be the Google Map destinations, and that part's kind of long. So then I'm going to scroll all the way down to task 2. Then there's a transportation. This is all about, and again, I'm going over this part pretty quickly because each day I'll go back and really show you, like, okay, this is what you need to go, this is what you need to do. Task 2 is picking transportation. So we have to get a car. We have to rent a car. So we're going to rent a car. We're going to figure out how much gas we're going to spend, take a picture of the car. That's going to be tomorrow. Then on Thursday, we've got to get some hotel rooms. So every time you stay in a city, let's say you decide, I don't know, you're going to go to Vegas and you're going to stay in Las Vegas for 3 days. So you got to get a hotel. You got to get a hotel for 3 nights. And we're going to talk to you about what websites to use and where to go to find that information. So there's a day about hotels. That's going to be Thursday. There are a lot of lines in this table, but that's because some of you are going to find that you can't do all of your traveling in one day, because we have a limit set on how far your car can go in one day. Obviously, we have to stop and rest, so you can't drive for 15 hours straight. But anyway, there's the hotels, places for pictures of your hotels in each of your cities. Then on Tuesday next week, we've got food. So we're going to talk about, how much money are we spending on food? What kind of food are we going to eat? Then we're going to put in some pictures of our restaurants. We're going to find basically the total cost of this trip. Then there's the sightseeing aspect. So why are you picking the cities that you're picking? Is there a place you've been before that's really cool? It has a neat zoo or water park or something you want to go back to. Maybe you have family somewhere and you want to visit family, but you're also going to do some sightseeing. So then the last part of this packet, which will be next week on Wednesday, will be this sightseeing about the city you picked, why you picked it, why are you going there. And then finally, so there's 5 cities there because you have to pick 5 cities. And then finally, there's a presentation. So using PowerPoint, Google Slides, you're going to create a presentation that's going to have your Google Map routes, which I'll show you how to do today. Sites from each city you visit. What kind of rental car did you pick? What kind of hotels did you stay at? What are some restaurants? Maybe some other cool pictures you can think of. And obviously, this is like a virtual trip. We're not really taking this trip. So these pictures are going to be ones you take off of Google, but and anything else that you would like to share about your trip. I'm also going to show you at the end how to do gosh darn it, sorry. I'll show you at the end how to do an entire trip route picture, which will show like basically where you start and then how you travel around the country and get back to your house. It says prepare your verbal presentation. You'll be showing showing your digital presentation while talking through your road trip in front of the class. So in the past, we've presented these. Obviously, with the virtual learning, it creates a little bit of an interesting dynamic, but I've considered if it, maybe for some, not really bonus points, but maybe part of the points on the presentation can be for you actually sharing your presentation with the rest of the class. So we'll kind of see how that goes. I put it in there, but I'm not 100% sure that we'll actually be presenting to each other. So there it is in a nutshell. We've got this road trip to plan. And I don't know if any of you have actually been able to hop in a car and travel around the country, or maybe you took a really long road trip somewhere. Maybe you've driven to Florida. Maybe you've driven to, I don't know, Tennessee, out east, maybe New York, New Jersey. Maybe some of you have gone out west. I've driven in a car as far as California, and it was fun to kind of experience the different parts of the country, driving through Indiana, Illinois, Missouri, that's all kind of the same. And then you get to Oklahoma and it's literally flat and boring. But then you start to get to Arizona, New Mexico, and that desert, driving through the deserts, and that's all really cool. Then the mountains in California, and then we ended up in San Diego. So it was really fun. Something like this I think is really cool too. I've had some friends take their families on big road trips where they stop at like 10 different cities and they're gone for like 2 weeks. But, this is kind of cool. So I want to now go down to task 1, and I'm actually going to fill in some information for you, not information you will use. Okay, I'm going to actually kind of create this project as well. So you can't copy or use what I use. You're going to see the very first city that I go to today is San Diego, California. So that can't be your first city. You're welcome to stop there at some other point, but you can't make it your first destination. So I'm going to go down here and we're going to read task task 1, because there are some stipulations on what kind of cities you're picking. So it says the following guidelines should help you pick 5 cities. First, all 5 cities must be in the continental United States. That excludes Hawaii and Alaska. You can't drive to Hawaii, right? Because it's out in the ocean. I'm pretty sure you can get to I don't even know. I don't even want to say. I don't want to embarrass myself. You'd have to get through Canada. I do know that. We're not doing that. So no Alaska. So you're staying in the 48 continental United States. The second one is really important. So this is kind of your tie to social studies. At least one city must be relevant to your U.S. history curriculum. So think, you started this year in 1492, and I think you're supposed to get all the way up to or through the Civil War, 1877. So you need to pick some city that you've talked about in that curriculum, and that has to be one of the places you go. Students oftentimes say, do I have to leave Indiana? Do I have to leave? Absolutely, you have to leave. I want you to think big here, right? Don't make this easy and say, oh, I'm going to go to Kentucky, I'm going to go to Michigan, and I'm going to go to Ohio. Okay, you've probably done that. So pick places where you haven't been. Pick destinations where you want to go, things that you're really interested in. I've had students in the past do themes for their trip. One time there was a theme of haunted locations across the United States, and they picked the top 5 most haunted spots, and they went to those. It was really cool. But you do have to leave Indiana for at least 3 of your cities. So what does that mean? Out of 5 cities total, 3 of them have to be out of state. And then also be prepared to give good reasons why you chose that city. Don't pick Fort Wayne. Okay, that's not exciting. We've all been to Fort Wayne. So the first thing you're going to do today, and you can do it on scrap paper or you can type it right into this document after you download it, but you're going to start picking your cities. Okay, where do I want to go? Those destinations are going here in lines city 1 through 5. The first thing you're going to type in, though, is your home address. And for purposes of not wanting to be TP'd or my house egged later, I'm picking the middle school as my home address. So there we go, 415 Drake Road, Kendallville, Indiana. Then for my first city, I am going to do San Diego. You'll find out later why I picked San Diego first. It is really far away, and so when we get to some of the other harder parts of this task, you'll see what I mean by only be able to drive so far in one day and that kind of thing. So San Diego, California is my first destination. You're going to go ahead then today and pick your other 4 destinations as well. Remember that one of them does have to tie to your U.S. history curriculum. San Diego, California would not do that. I don't know when was the gold rush. Anybody chime in and tell me when the gold rush was? When was the California gold rush? Okay, in the 1840s and 1850s. I don't know if it was in San Diego, though, so I don't know if you can get all the way to say that that's what you want to do. But anyway, one of them has to be U.S. history curriculum. And then once you fill in your 5 cities, so here's my first one, San Diego, you're going to type in city 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then you're going to put your own home address back down here again, because unfortunately we do have to come back home. And when we go to Google Maps in a minute, you're going to see your last city, city 5, you have to then go from city 5 back to your house. So that's why I put that in there. And again, I'm skipping these other 4 spots because I'm not going to do this entire project. I'm just going to kind of highlight the key parts. Okay, so what do we do next? We have our 5 cities picked. I've got my home address in, my start and my end location, and I'm ready to figure out how I'm going to get to these different cities. So we're going to go to Google Maps. And you can just type Google Maps into your search bar and click on Google Maps. But this is what it will look like. And we're going to start by figuring out how to get from one city to the next. Now, I do want to zoom way out. Like I'm going to zoom all the way out so we can see the whole country. Because I want to point out some obvious things. So here we are, right? I'm here. I'm in Auburn right now, but I'm going to start in Kendallville. And my first destination is San Diego, California. So you can see where that is. What I want you to think about before you type in any of this stuff today, once you have your 5 cities, think about where they're located on a map. And then you need to take the route that makes the most sense. So let's say that I go to San Diego, and then I also want to go somewhere in Florida because I like Florida. I like the beaches. It's hot, sunny, whatever. So I'm in Kendallville, I'm in Kendallville. I'm going to San Diego, and then I head down here to Florida. Okay, after Florida, I would not want to go to Oregon. Okay, and from Oregon, then I wouldn't want to go to New York, and from New York, maybe down to Dallas. That's too much crisscrossing across the country, and it's going to take, a lot more money in gas. It's going to take too many days. I got to get back before school starts next year, all of that. So we're going to start here. Maybe I would head to San Diego, then up to Oregon, then maybe to Dallas, then to Florida, then to New York, and then back home. So you want to kind of make sure that your trip follows not really a circle, but you don't want to be crisscrossing across the country the whole time. So I hope that part makes sense. Okay, so now I'm going to zoom back in. I don't even have to do that. Google will zoom for me. And I'm going to click up here in the search bar. And in the search bar, I'm going to type in my home address, 415 Drake Road. And a lot of times you'll see it will pop up. So 415 Drake Road, Kendallville. And then I'm going to click on, hang on one second. Nope, that's not what I want. Nope, that's not what I want. Where's my little car? Search. Oh, it did. Bicycling, traffic. Okay, they changed something here. Traffic? No, that just shows the traffic in Kendallville. Save, nearby, send to your phone. Oh, directions. Here we go. Directions. Dirt. Okay, so let's try that again because I screwed that up, didn't I? So here we go. 415 Drake Road, Kendallville, Indiana, and then I'm going to click on directions. So it says to choose up here, choose a starting point or click on the map. I want my starting point to be Drake Road. So I'm going to hit these arrows right here, and it's going to flip-flop. So it's going to start me in Kendallville, and in this case it'll be at your house, and then I'm going to type in San Diego, California. And you can see it'll just pop up. Now this will take you to like the middle of downtown San Diego, which is fine. I'm not super specific about you getting right to your right to your hotel. Now these green, oh, this is transit. I don't want that. I want driving in a car. So make sure you have a car picked up here. Make sure your address appears first. And I want to show you something. You can hit these arrows and watch what it'll do to those two cities. It'll take you from San Diego to Kendallville. It'll flip-flop them. But we want Kendallville to San Diego. So once you type in your home address, click on directions, and you'll have to flip-flop because you want your address to show up first, and then you want San Diego. Now, this is where I am going to get some information to put in the next part of my chart. So what I need to focus on is the time, 33 hours, and the miles, 2,226 miles. And I'm going to go back to my document, and I'm going to go down to the second part. Okay, here was my address, 415 Drake Road, Kendallville, Indiana. My ending city, this is City 1, San Diego, California. The miles were 2,226. The time was 33 hours. It didn't list any minutes. You don't have to put units here. I'm going to go ahead and put units. I think it looks a little nicer. And then it says the number of nights staying. So we'll talk about this a little bit later, but this is once I get to San Diego, how long do I want to stay there? So you might be thinking, okay, well, what kinds of things am I going to do? I really like the San Diego Zoo. It's humongous. I know it would take me, I could spend a whole day there. So the San Diego Zoo is one thing I would maybe want to do. Then it's on the ocean, so I want to spend a day at the beach. So, you know, I get there, I have to spend the night. I go to the zoo one day and I have to spend the night. I go to the beach another day and I have to spend the night. My brother lives there, so maybe I want to visit with them. I have to spend the night. So think about how many days do you want to stay. I'm going to go ahead and say 4 nights. So let's say if I get there on Monday, that means I spend the night there. Monday night, Tuesday night, Wednesday night, and Thursday night, and I would leave on Friday when I wake up and head to my next destination. So the number of nights staying is strictly once you get to your location, how long are you going to stay there? Okay, now it says a picture of the map. So go to Google Maps, find the distance in miles and travel time. We did that. Fill in the distances, use the snipping tool to snip a picture of the route. So this is where I am going to collapse this now, and I'm going to kind of center my map a little bit better. And I'm going to use the snipping tool, new, and I'm going to snip a picture. This is... and I kind of got too much there, so let's do another one. Let's start, we'll start down here. We're going to snip like this. I don't know why all those green, that's kind of frustrating. I wonder if I can get that to go away. Get those transit things to go away. I'd probably have to start all over. I am going to start all over, because it only takes a second. Okay, Google Maps. Google Maps. A shortcut and start with San Diego, California. And I'm going to find directions there from, there we go, 415 Drake Road. Oh, see, it's going to, sometimes it changes what pops up there. There we go, Kendallville. There we go, all those green, I think it was because I had it on transit, so all those green bus routes were popping up, and that was really frustrating to my picture. So here we go, this looks a lot better. Now we can see the state more. See how messy that was there? So San Diego, Kendallville to San Diego. So control, copy. I know that you guys are really good at this because you do this with Lutman. Is there a way I can paste it right in there, or do I have to save it? Somebody tell me. Can I paste it right in? Okay, we'll go to my snipping picture and I'll just save it to my desktop. Maybe make yourself a folder. That's what I'll do. Desktop, new folder, road trip. This is home to San Diego, California. So save that, close that. No, I don't. Okay, insert. There we go. This is what I wanted. And then we're going to insert that picture into that table. And the reason why I'm having you insert this is because then when you go to actually create your PowerPoint, you have all of these images in here. So there it is. And now I would go on. So depending on what my second city was, I type San Diego here, city number 1, and it's really laid out for you. It's kind of hard to screw this part up. But then you would put your second city here. Now remember, I'm not doing this entire trip, so I'm just showing you kind of bits and pieces so that you can get started on your locations. So then what I would want to do when I go back to Google Maps, I'll expand this back out, now I want to be starting in San Diego, right? I went from Kendallville to San Diego. I spent 5 days, 4 nights there, and now I want to go from San Diego to some other location. So I hit these arrows to put San Diego up top, and now I'm going to type my other destination. Maybe it is Las Vegas. Las Vegas, Nevada. So there we go. And now it will show you that part of the trip, how to get from San Diego to Las Vegas. You would snip this and keep going through your table. I'm not going to share much more after like what happens next, because that will be task 2 that we work on tomorrow. But today, again, your goal is get your 5 cities picked, fill in this table, then you go to Google Maps and you fill in this table. Now this table ends up looking really long, but it's only because there are just 5 cities. There are 6 spots though, right? I have to go from home to city 1 to city 2, city 2 to 3, 3 to 4, 4 to 5, and then 5 back home. That is part of your trip. So I have to take that part of the map, wherever your 5th city is, then I have to do that. Finally, today, it asks you for the total distance in miles traveled during your road trip, just getting from city to city. So this doesn't count any traveling you might do within the city. So, right, I get to San Diego, I go to the zoo, I go to the beach, I go to my brother's. I don't want all those little miles in there. I just want the main miles to get from home to San Diego, and I forget what it was, 2,226. Now, all over this packet, it says show your work. Show your work, show your work, show your work. You have to show your work. That's how you're going to get all of the points. So those of you who are struggling right now, your grade is low because you missed stuff, you didn't hit deadlines, you haven't been doing math, this is your opportunity to get some of those points back. So I would write 2,226 plus, this is me showing my work. Let's say my next destination, it was Vegas. Let's see how far that was. 330. See, so also on these maps, it'll give you 2 routes. The one that's highlighted in blue is this brighter white one. The one that's in gray is this one. So why do they show you 2 different routes? Well, sometimes there's maybe construction, so it might take a little longer to go one way than the other. This right here, though, this is called the Pacific Coast Highway. And the Pacific Coast Highway is a really awesome highway to travel on. So they might be thinking, oh, hey, this is going to be super scenic. So maybe you want to take that Pacific Coast Highway and head to Las Vegas that way. So that's why. You can switch routes just by clicking on it, and then you can see the blue will hop from here over to here, or I can switch back. There's even this gray one that's maybe taking you, it looks like, through the Mojave National Preserve, so maybe you want to visit that. But, there's the Pacific Coast Highway route. Here's the fastest route usually. Wait, let me get that one. Yeah, usually the one that's in blue will be the fastest route. So I go back to my document. That was 331 miles plus whatever city 2 is, 490 plus 3,000. That's probably a little excessive. 2,022 plus, whatever. And this is you showing your work. And then at the end, you'll say 871 equals blank. Whatever the total trip is. Please make sure you show your work. Again, that's how you get your full credit. And I'll actually put that right there. 2,226 plus ... equals Okay, just so that because I'm going to keep opening this document on save as. Let's put it right in that folder on my desktop, or you can have it, you probably, ooh, it's raining. You'll probably have it on your OneDrive, right? That's probably the safest place for you to put it. Road trip, COVID-19 version, 6-period example. There we go. So every day I'll open this same document. Somebody can remind me where it is. So, hopefully this is a nice change for some of you. I know that math is not your favorite subject. I know that, you know, this is just such a wild way to end the school year, and I've been making you do videos and kind of try to learn a lot of this Pythagorean theorem stuff on your own. So this hopefully is a nice change for you to kind of get, I don't know, just get some of your points back and help your grade. The very last week of school, I think we are going to still take a test, though, kind of like a final exam. And the only reason I'm offering that is, again, because so many of you haven't taken some tests. I don't know really what's going on, why you're just not doing your math work, but you're not. And I'm putting zeros in the grade book for your tests, and that is just absolutely tanking your grades. So, you know, it'll give you another opportunity. Holy cow, it is pouring. I literally just was outside with Leo. We had a picnic for lunch today, and it was sunny and warm, and now it's pouring. Ew. Okay, so anyway, the final exam test points, that'll also really help your grade. So I think that last week we'll do some studying for that, and then also hopefully get you another test score in there. So I'm going to close the document. I'm going to close Google Maps. So here's the road trip packet. That's what I just had opened up. That's what you're going to download and type your answers and all of your work in. Today I'm only asking you to do task 1. No, that's a great question, Shema. She says, do we turn it in every day? You won't turn it in every day. Only because you would like turn it in with one task complete, then with a second. You'll see at the very end of the document, I have a giant rubric, and I'll use that rubric when I grade. So when I give it back to you after I have it graded and you see how you did on it, then you'll know, you'll know which parts where you lost points and stuff. So I hope you enjoy this. To me, it's always a really fun way to kind of wrap up the year. It ties into social studies a little bit about picking, I don't know, what are some famous cities you talk about in social studies? I'm sure you talk about Boston, right? Boston, Jamestown, that's about all I got. So, you know, pick a city that you've talked about in Lutman's class. I do verify with him that it is a city that you discussed in there. If you're having trouble coming up with a city, you could always reach out to him and ask, like, hey, I need to visit a city. Where would be a really cool city to visit that has ties to, you know, early America? But that's what we'll do today. Now, obviously, today I talked a whole lot longer than I'll talk in future days, because on all the other days, you'll already know about the whole trip and the whole packet and all of that. And we'll just be focusing on task 2 tomorrow. So please, please, please talk to each other and get your friends to get in this session. It's been super frustrating some days where no one shows up or just 1 or 2 people show up. This is the most we've had in a while, so I'm thankful that you all came today. And I hope you're still doing okay. It sounds like this might be coming to an end. My dog groomer opened back up, so I get to take my shaggy dog to get his hair cut finally. I mean, I tried to trim around his eyes. He can barely see. Oh, I'm going to quit recording because they don't want to hear all that.